um really interesting just happened when I went upstairs to get my lunch, and I wanted to share it with you. When I was going to get my lunch upstairs, I was, as the Latin American and Colombian I am, I was walking, just doing like the line for the lunch, and that people that is serving were discussing to each other, and one of them was saying, "How come you don't read?" And the other person said, like, "I just can't. Like, I've been trying and I'm doing a really intentional effort of doing it, and I just can't." And again, as the Colombian and person I am, and very nosy person I am particularly are, I just jump in, and we of course have um, discuss about life previously, because I am a regular for the office cafeteria and stuff, and I'm like, "How come you don't read? Tell me what's going on." Of course, as I am a heavy reader, I always want everyone to read. And she said, like, "I just can't. Like, I fall asleep. I every time I try to start, I just either get bored or don't find the time or just can't do it." And and of course, me as being as the noisy reader I always want to give people uh, like ways of um tackle the reading, because I personally believe is one of the best ways to spend time, um, to learn, to train your brain, to just get cognitive expansion, and, well, a lot of things. So anyway, I started talking to her, and I'm like, "Tell me your problems. Tell me, how can I help?" And she repeated what I've overheard, and she said, "I just get really either bored or fell asleep, or just don't find the time." And my recommendation for her was like, actually, that is why I started reading when I was 16. Because I was never, when I was a teenager, I was never a reader. But what I found out was that whenever I started reading, I just fell asleep. It was the best sleeping pill I could find. And I was also, when I was a teenager, having a lot of issues to fall asleep at night. So the conclusion as a teenager is like, okay, if I want to go to sleep quickly and have no issues with sleep at night, I better start reading, because that is clearly something that puts me into bed. And that is actually how I started reading. The only purpose initially for me to read was to just fall asleep, and it worked perfectly. I read 1 or 2 pages, and I was gone for the until the next morning, and that is how I started getting this habit of reading before I go to bed. Then, of course, I stopped watching TV at nights because I was so into reading, and just took out the television from my room, and it's been out since then. And that is how I became addicted to reading, and that's why I read so much. Um, and it's basically because I have adopted this habit of reading um, on a daily basis, because it's the way that I go to bed. So just wanted to, and I told her this story, and she's like, "Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let me try it." I don't even. I need to catch up with her and understand if she did anything or if she tried it. But I just wanted to share it with you, because it's a conversation that I often have with people that really want to get into reading. That is something that in the UK doesn't happen much, but in Colombia it does. That people really want to get into the habit of reading, but just can't do it. And of course, we live in an environment that promotes way more the interaction with screens more than the interaction with books. We also got into the habits of just the immediacy and getting and grasping information in 1 minute, 1 second, and reading clearly is completely the opposite of that. But I do want to encourage everyone that is in this process of trying to get into a habit of reading, because it's not only a great way to go to bed. It actually been proved that is one of the best ways to just like get your brain tired and promote a deep sleep. Um, but also because reading has proved to be one of the best ways to create cognitive connection, new connections in your brain to make you more empathic, to um, promote the imagination, creativity, and well, the benefits of reading are multiple, and I am not the one who is going to tell you all of them, not at least in this in in this video, but I do wanted to share this little story just to let you know that you don't need to be an intellectual to start reading ferociously. And a lot, because it definitely didn't start it for me like that. The habit came literally from the fact that reading made me very sleepy, and at at that time I felt it was boring, and that's why I adopted this habit. And now I am addicted to reading because it's the only way that I can go to bed today after almost 15, 20 years since I started it. So just wanted to share that with you, and hope I hope it helps anyone that is trying to get into the habit of reading, and maybe this is one way you can do it. Cheers! Thank you so much.